All right, we are live. Good morning, and welcome to 1 Million Cups, Northwest Arkansas. My name is Morgan Scholes, and I'm a member of the Startup Junkie team. We help facilitate this 1 Million Cup event every Wednesday morning. If you're not familiar with 1 Million Cups, it is a national program instigated by the Kauffman Foundation with the idea that problems can be solved over the conversation that happens over cups of coffee. So we're doing it virtually, but I hope you still have your coffee. And the concept is to bring together entrepreneurs and innovators and business owners and community members on a regular basis and create context for these meaningful conversations. Startup Junkie, if you're not familiar with us, we are an organization that is dedicated to improving lives by empowering entrepreneurship and innovation. We do that by providing no-cost one-on-one consulting for people at every stage of the business journey, from ideation to actualization to exiting. And then we also do a lot of events such as this, and then several other webinars and lunch and learns and happy hours. Anything that brings good people together to have good conversation and empower entrepreneurship in our community. Want to take a quick moment and say a very special thank you, as always, to Brian, who is behind the scenes running the show at Go Rogue X. So he makes sure that these presentations are seamless. Also, if you haven't checked out the Startup Junkie podcast, which has downloads in over 100 countries, and we're nearing, I think, weekly, I think we're nearing about 800 downloads a week, so it's pretty popular. Get on board. But Brian also helps facilitate and edit and produce that podcast as well. So all your media needs, Brian at Go Rogue X. They're awesome. Now we're here today with Alvin Singh. Alvin is a member of the Startup Junkie team as a manager of the Kiva program. But he also is, I would call you a serial entrepreneur at this point, Alvin. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Alvin, I think you're muted. I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yep, I got you.
Cool. Yes, I would say a serial entrepreneur.
I'm so excited to hear. Yeah. Well, so Alvin today is going to tell us about one specific company, the most recent, the latest and greatest, Jusè. But I hope we get to hear just more of your entrepreneurial story in general. As we get going, if you have any questions or comments for Alvin, please throw those up in the chat and we will get to those towards the end of the presentation. But other than that, Alvin, take it away.
Sure. Thank you very much, Morgan. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad to be here this morning to present one of my business ventures that I recently started. I'm going to share my screen. If you were able to join us last week, you knew what my day job is, working with Kiva and Startup Junkie. There we go. Perfect. And perfect. So, yes. So in my day job, I work with Startup Junkie Foundation and Kiva on their Kiva NWA Hub initiative, which is a really good initiative that we're working on to help. And there's a whole video you can probably see next week, but it's to help a lot of the small business and entrepreneurs in the area kind of get over the hump of what's happening with the COVID relief. And so my business venture, just kind of a little story about myself. This is my company called Jusè. It was kind of a play on the word juicy or juice. And it actually started, well, I have a company called Boquito that's like a online e-commerce company. And the story behind that, it started in 2003. So I was in college, and one of the local business bookstore owners kind of took a liking to me. And it was, early 2000, and he was trying to figure out, to go into retirement or should he, start selling online. And so I at the time was a very big customer of his, and I said, "Hey, I can help sell some of these books to some of the students." And so he gave me a whole inventory, like a whole trunk full of books, and I really didn't know what to do with it at the time. Of course, I was still in school, so I wasn't going to start a store or brick and mortar. But there was the internet, and I actually created a website around this time with another classmate of mine who was doing some early coding probably at the time, and it just was where I saw things were going. Now that I think about it, I probably was one of the few people on campus to have like a website per se for anything. This was pre MySpace, definitely pre before Facebook and social networking. So the company, we called it Bookido, which was a play on martial arts and books, and kind of what is the power of reading can do to you. If you read a book, you know, it will inspire you to travel, or if you read a Bruce Lee quote, it would, you know, inspire you to go to the gym or work out. Um, and so it was just a kind of a tie-in into the lifestyle brand. Um, it did very good, very successfully. I sold all of the inventory. I ordered other books. I had a stand at the Book Expo in New York City one year. Um, and just, you know, you can see the climb in online e-commerce. This at the time, Amazon was about 5 or 6 years old, so it was very new. When we had the website, was you would order a book, send me a money order, then I would take the money order, cash it, and then I'll go ship the book. So there was no PayPal and kind of any kind of real merchant e-commerce or Stripe or Shopify. So it was a lot of time into that. But it was a lesson. It was a great lesson that I learned as an entrepreneur. And from that, I told myself, well, what would be something that I can start my own self? So would it be a yoga mat? Because at the time we were selling, you know, fitness equipment and jump ropes and boxing gloves and yoga mats and t-shirts. But it was always me ordering it as a wholesaler from other vendors. So needless to say, all these years, I've never come up with a product that I felt was that can align with my lifestyle. And it's going off of the concept of finding a MVP, a minimum visible product. So what is the smallest idea or product that I can bring to the market that is needed, measure the feedback from people, and even, you know, see if I can take it to work later. So what is the smallest entry of a product that I would get customers to buy from? Some of the considerations that I had was low cost to manufacture, affordable cost for consumers. Wanted to really get into niche target marketing, whether it's, you know, fitness or pets or yoga or something. I was really trying to find something that was niche. And then more importantly, something that adds value to the customer. Real big on like the Tom's model of buy one shoe, give one back. So was it a product that can be tied in with kind of social entrepreneurship? Was a thing that I always thought about. And now, being in the age that we are, and this, you know, even more so with the pandemic, of people losing their jobs, people starting new businesses, we are at a time where I believe that it's important for every family, or if possible, an individual to have their own business. It can be a service-based business or it can be a product-based business. But I just really believe that one of the things is for you to have your own business or invest in someone else's business. It is just a quick way to, you know, they say one income is close to zero income. So you want to have as many multiple income streams that you can, but that's manageable, not overwhelming and trying to, you know, put all, you know, spin your wheels and doing things that you're really not familiar with. So for me, it was choices. Was it a watch? Was it a travel bag, as we see here, or was it Bluetooth speakers or sunglasses? There was so many choices on what would tie in to something that I would choose. And so another key thing that I wanted to do was a direct to customer. So I wanted to keep the early stages of it to be online only so that people can buy the products at 24/7. I wanted to have a open store at all times. So by having this product that I can have and then having the online store, the next thing is to bring traffic to the website. So with my background as a digital marketer and digital strategist, I said, well, I've been doing this long enough. I can figure out how to do some Facebook ads or get some traffic leads, some SEO, some influencer marketing with others that have big accounts, and bring traffic to the website to eventually buy the product. So then as I start narrowing down, I said, what do customers want? And what I found out was I was looking at the food and beverage industry. And what I found was more customers were opting out for more healthier choices than ever before, things that were rich in vitamins, proteins, and probiotics. And so I saw that kind of playing really big is something that I felt comfortable with to tie in with the Boquito brand. And then there was an increase of demand for smoothies that was going up, and kind of the detox, cleansing the body kind of movement, and a lot of health experts were pushing for it. COVID kind of pushed that as well, as more people were trying to boost their immune systems. And then, who doesn't enjoy a smoothie? It's affordable to some people, if depending on where you can go to get it, or you can make it at home, which is affordable to you as well as a drink, because you can make unlimited amount of smoothies or juices from your home. So I did some research on the smoothie market, and I did know that it was projected to be a $10 billion global market with 9% growth over the next 4 years. Emerging markets were flourishing. I actually saw one in South Africa that was kind of a Hawaiian franchise kind of smoothie place, and it was very popular in South Africa. North America market is growing. They have Smoothie Kings, tropical smoothie as well. And like I said earlier, just the rise in health consciousness was a big push, right? And a lot of times that is really good to when you're starting a business or you're looking to enter a field, is to find someone that you can kind of ask questions, get some feedback from, seek as a mentor, or seek as a competitor. In this case, at the time, I was also looking at, okay, smoothies in this healthy drink market is where I want to go. But do I want to own a food truck, right? And so this is an interesting part of business decisions, of especially now. Do you want a brick and mortar where people come in, traffic, location, or do you want to spend a lot of time on e-commerce and the website? And so for the food truck, I said, well, I'm doing other things and I don't really see, me doing it full time. But there was someone that I came across, and it's called Smooth and Groove. They're based in Atlanta. And I was very impressed that he made $1 million selling smoothies from his food truck. He's in the big city. He parks his food truck at different colleges. They got professional teams in Atlanta. Caleb, I'm sure he's been at the Atlanta Braves game. But they got Atlanta Falcons, Hawks. So you've got, all of these universities. So he's able to, use social media and appear at some of these locations and sell it. and it's a long line. And what was interesting too was his menu is a lot of hip hop based, kind of music based menu, um, kind of like Smooth Operator or different things like that as titles. Um, and so I reached out to him, talked to him, and he gave me a lot of insight on what was like in this kind of smoothie market and what he thought. And what I got from the conversation was consumer electronic, rather than having a food truck right now, or what if I was to create and do a brand on the actual device itself, right? And that's where we came with Jusè. Jusè is a portable, wireless. I don't know if you can see it from here because I can't see it myself. Okay, you cannot see it per se, but I've got it in different colors: purple, black, blue, green, and red. And Jusè is just what I say it is. It's a portable wireless blender, and people use it for salsa, pestos, or smoothies. I'm not sure if you can see it pretty good. It's got 6 blades on it. This one won't start, but you can even charge your cell phone with it. It's got a strainer right here, the strain. There's other ones that's on the market that's like it. So it's not uniquely only, but that's part of what entrepreneurship. I had to think about it. I said, the tire itself, Goodwill makes one, Firestone makes one. There's no real set hold on something specifically, right? So with Jusè, I like that it was portable. I like that it was self-cleaning. It fell in line with the affordable pricing range that I was looking for. And it was something that can give me a lot of opportunities to take good pictures for, right? So one of the things I wanted to do was find a brand that I can kind of tie in with different lifestyles. So like for this example, this picture, someone can have it in their car as a quick, immune drink, or you can take it to the beach for a picnic. Distribution. So what were some of the things that I wanted to do on the distribution standpoint? What were some goals? Shopify, of course, I got a Shopify website. Amazon fulfillment, where I can send them to Amazon's warehouse and they would ship it out to customers. Walmart sellers market as well. Facebook marketplace, it has been real popular. When I got my first order, I literally just put it on Facebook, and so many people met me cash directly, or they paid through the website that wanted it. And that was, I think, for me, was a big test to see what was my target market. There was a lot of interesting data that I got from that. Pinterest, take advantage of Pinterest shop link, since they are colorful, since there is a big foodie market. You can go on Pinterest right now. There's tons of smoothie bowls and smoothies pictures. So how could I always wanted to do something from the Pinterest market of someone sees it and they will purchase it. Instagram, of course, and affiliate marketing for others, sort of like an influencer brand ambassador market. So whether athletes, bikers, fitness instructors, healthcare workers. I've had guys who, work with construction workers. They use it, and just kind of showing that this is something that's, many different lifestyles and genres and markets. My sales goal is 40,000 units. I'm not in no rush to get it. The faster, the better, of course. But 40,000 units is what I want. And one of the ways to kind of reach that goal is to look at partnerships. Taking the idea like the social entrepreneurship of what if one of the colors was in with a, let's say, a children's organization or nonprofit, and certain colors will go to a proceeds towards that foundation. This kind of the model I was thinking of doing with it. Where we at now? So yes, it's available online directly. It's not in any stores, and I am interested in looking at serious investors or anybody who can make introductions or opportunities. So either through a micro lending kind of arrangement, sort of like what I do with Kiva, where there's payments kind of done over time, or equity investments is also an opportunity. There's my contact information. And that's it. See if there's any questions.
Awesome.
Cool. So I guess with that, I didn't want to bore too much on, because it's a smoothie blender, right? It's nothing, in the tech world where we work at. I also deal with entrepreneurs who are solving so many problems, Morgan, from, speeding tickets to, healthcare. And I wanted to pick something that was pretty sells itself. And so this was something that came out of that.
What I love about this is that I just kind of the whole thought that went into this whole process. You're like, okay, I want to start a business, another business. I want to add in revenue stream to my household, and then just kind of the analysis and research that you did in determining what product you wanted to bring to market, and then what that looks like. It's amazing. I mean, I'm totally in awe of entrepreneurship in general, which is why I love my job. Mm-hmm. And just hearing the many different approaches and kind of thought processes that go into it is awesome. We do have some questions coming in hot in the chat box here. If you've got a question, you can throw it in the comment section on Facebook. So the first question is from Martha, and she's asking if you're selling them mostly in NWA or other areas of the country. So I think you touched on that a little bit with your distribution. Yep. But yeah, if you want to circle back on that.
Yes, it is available all around the country. I do ship it to people who buy, online. In NWA right now, it is Facebook Marketplace. But that is interesting because I would like to partner with, a business that can just put a few of them on their shelf so that they can make some extra income. So there's cafes, restaurants, or kind of souvenir kind of, NWA kind of stores. And so that's what I'm open to. I'm not from the area. So anybody that can say, oh, there's a business, a friend of mine may like something like this,
Yeah, or even like a protein powder company or something like that, partnering with somebody that you're like, yeah, use your product and my product, go together. Very cool. So we've got another question. Have you used influencers in your marketing campaigns?
I have not. I have some that I'm reaching out to work with. We're just trying to figure out what that would look like, but mm-hmm. That's definitely a key part for what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. It's another sort of just very novel new thing, the whole concept of influencers. It's not an old concept. It's really new.
Have you heard of this guy, Mr. Beast, Morgan?
But I am I'm definitely the try not to do the social medias very much, so I am not in the know.
There's an influencer guy named Mr. Beast, and he sells burgers, but he gives money away. So imagine going through the drive-thru and order a cheeseburger, and he throws in $2,000 $2,000 in your car.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd be fine with
Or
that.
you're in line and you get a new car. And so, but I'm trying to figure out, is he an influencer or is he an entrepreneur? Because, but
Yeah.
he's got a huge following. And someone like that is, what's interesting is that what came first, the influence part or the business part, or is he an influencer that can now sell anything, And so that's the fascinating part with
Yeah,
influence.
you've got that following. We've got a question from a fan here. Caleb says he has one. He's a big fan because it's prompted him to drink smoothies in the morning versus too much coffee.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 million cups. And that is true. I work with Caleb, and he drinks smoothies every day.
What? I didn't know.
Yeah, he's serious about smoothies all of a sudden. I mean, it's profound. So his question is, what are your thoughts on targeting health-related Instagram influencers?
Very important. That's because that's the market that can explain it more, because they use them for so many different reasons. So whether it's doctors who are, who are encouraging people to do herbs and kind of routines, protein shakes, those are the people that I want to say, hey, this is a go-to, because one thing is for certain, this is not going to replace your at-home plug-in blender. If you got a choice between your own at-home blender, this probably would be stronger, faster, right? It'll do the same thing. It will make it. But I would consider this if you were on the go, if you were going to be somewhere for a long period of time, if you're going to be at the DMV or, or if you're on a road trip, this
for commuters, like people who,
right,
have to travel a lot for work. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Travis has asked, what kind of feedback have you received from customers? So what are the people saying about your product?
The feedback has been good. I've had no really complaints from it at all, really. The battery works. They like the blade. It cuts ice. It's a 6 blade, so it cuts, pretty fast for the ice. Self cleans itself, so you can just put the water in it and turn it on. Oh, there's one. This one works right here.
That self-cleaning aspect is a huge selling point, especially if you're on the go. I have, and you don't want to have a bunch of like dirty cups and things and you're rolling around in your car.
Which you're talking about influencers. So you got the health related, but then hikers, campers, that kind of outdoor crowd. I would like them to test it and say, what they think. Of course, I don't know if it'll work under some Mount Everest conditions, but I want to get their feedback. Hey, I dropped it one time and it didn't work, or hey, the battery was, because it's a 6-hour battery. So how would someone take this fully charged and go on a hike and say, hey, I was able to make 2-3 drinks from this, is what I would really like. So maybe that's a challenge that I'll do, is find some campers.
You're in a good region for that. The Ozarks are,
right.
It's a natural state. So everybody loves hiking and biking and being outdoors. So that portable nutrition I think you're in a good place to test that out. We got one more question here. This one's from Brad. So thinking about long-term viability, how can you position this to customers beyond something that's a one-time novelty purchase to this is a tool that I need? So how can you help people go from just buying it and being like, oh, this is so cool, and then it just sitting on the shelf, to this being like something that they're using and becomes an essential part of their
good point. So that is something that I've, of course, thought about. Would I have the answer for that? It probably wouldn't be from this more so, but probably be from, let's say, prepackaged fruit. So would I do an expansion to have a frozen pack of, peaches, pineapple, mangoes, and have a juicy kind of green pack? I've seen some of them, Great Value at Walmart has done it. So would that be in partnership with a frozen package company and say, hey, just as I'm doing with this, buy with a manufacturer, but to say, hey, what would it take to have my own recipe, right? To kind of, and then from there, it's unlimited. You see where I'm thinking now is because it can be a subscription model where you've got the Jusè, but now you're ordering prepackaged smoothies, once a month.
Like Daily Harvest, I think.
Right. And so that's the answer that comes to my mind. There's another one that I'm not going to share, but there's another consumer part that the manufacturer did show me that we may kind of work on and releasing kind of another device. But that's really it. That's the first answer was what I was thinking is, how would I make it something to someone to buy? Is it powder? What would it be? Protein powder or something?
Mm-hmm. Lots of ideas and lots of options and lots of potential routes to take. And, you've made it clear that at every point in this process, you just constantly evaluating like what product, what market, now what way to, get this product to market. That's, it's a very recursive process. Well, we have got Alvin's company's link up in the comment section here. So bukitoshop.com. Be sure to check it out and check out, Jusè and the other products listed there as well. Also, we've got a couple. Oh, I am not going to forget the grand finale question. Note to self. I always forget the last question, but it's coming, Alvin. Before that, really fast, we've got some great events coming up at Startup Junkie. Startup Culture in the Classroom is Monday, February 8th at 4:30. Product Market Fit, Thursday, February 11th. Happy Hour with Startup Junkie and the Conductor. Those are always my favorite events coming up next Friday, February 12th. And several more. They're all on our events page on the website, so we would, of course, love to have you join us. And now, in conclusion to this morning's 1 Million Cups, Alvin, what can we as a community do for you?
Good, man. The community can do for me is to purchase one. That's the first thing, and share with people. I can actually give a discount code for NWA. I would do a discount code NWA. So anybody that does purchase one, and if you're locally, you're going to get it hand delivered to you. So that's one way of supporting. And more so, just share with people. Just let people know that there's someone that's locally that's got something that wants to do good.
Love it. So we can buy the product and share about the product and just support this awesome business. Alvin, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you all next week, 8:30. Bring your coffee, bring your smoothie for 1 Million Cups.